does happen that breedings don't work. We're dealing with animals. We're not running a production line for cars or anything like that. These things do happen, but it's up to the person to determine, the customer, what happens with that deposit money. I mentioned this before. You give it back if they want it back. And if they want it applied to something else, then that's okay. But don't buy a dog from anybody that doesn't have something in writing. Get it in writing that if they don't make the dog that you asked for, that you get your money back. It's very important because there's a lot of that going on. I hear about a lot of that, and there's no excuse for that. Do you have anything else you want to talk about or add to the...
Well, it's like I said before, do your homework. I mean, I've been burned once, so.
Is he long enough for you, Robert?
Yeah, he's perfect length. He's a little biter too.
Yeah, he likes to express himself that way.
Yeah.
One other thing too, when you talk about people that want, like yourself, you wanted to get the best you could find. Is that right?
I'm that with everything. I mean, I just am. You know, I always want to try to get the best that I can possibly get. But there again, I don't want to be stupid with my money either.
Right.
You know.
Right. You want it to
I
have.
think you get what you pay for.
Right.
Bottom line is.
But it should also have value.
It should. Yes.
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of that value comes with finding somebody that is good as with service too. And you know, like I said, anytime that I called Bo, he went out of his way and spent time with me, educated with me. This is a dog that I've already put a deposit down on, and I've done it by just because there was something about our conversations that I trusted him, and you know, he didn't need my money. That was a big deal with me. You know, it wasn't a.
So were all the services provided that you expected?
Services have been excellent here, and I would definitely, without a doubt, buy another one.
Well, thank you very much for that. Thank you.
And you know, I'm not saying it just to be on camera.
I appreciate it. This is something that I want to see all breeders do. Folks, most so-called breeders are in and out of breeding dogs within 3 years. That's the average mortality rate for a breeder. What happens to you if you have a problem with the dog and a person had 1 or 2 or 3 breedings, whatever it is, and they're done? What happens to you is nothing. You're just stuck. Now when you start talking about top shelf quality, international, first class, and the best, all these things, people jumping up and down, screaming, I'm the best, come here. Okay, great. So how many champions do you have in your kennel? How many champions do you have in your kennel that you bred? What do we mean by that? I mean that your kennel name is on those dogs' papers. If you have a champion from somebody else as a stud dog or as a brood female, that's fine. But how many champions have you produced with your kennel name on it, not somebody else's? We're talking about you. And how many champions have you produced that have your kennel name on it, and how many best in shows with your kennel name on it? Best in show wins don't count if you had a dog that was distantly related to that dog. You cannot legitimately make claim to those best in show wins. And anyone that does that, right off the back, is showing you that they're not completely being honest with you. And that's just from the initial contact. What else are they going to be sneaky about? Best in show wins, championship titles cannot legitimately be claimed unless your kennel name is on that dog. I had people at the USA Monographicas that won best in show divisions that were pups from dogs I created. But my kennel name was not on those dogs. I was completely thrilled for them, but I don't make claim to those wins. Those are their wins. They have their own kennel now. These are things that you want to look for and consider. Do they call you back in a timely fashion? Do they have the answers for your question, like what Robert said? Are they knowledgeable? If you're interested in breeding, do they really have the knowledge about how to breed dogs? Or showing. Showing doesn't just mean you take a dog out into the ring and it's a done deal. There's a lot more to it than that. But anyway, folks, I think we're going to wrap this up at this point. I
would like to say one thing.
Oh, sure.
This dog is 2 months and 2 days.
That's right.
So I think it has a lot to dealing with a breeder that the puppies are maintained on a 4-hour basis.
Yeah, we bottle feed the pups on top of them feeding on their mother as well. We bottle feed our puppies every 4 hours, strictly on the put. It's very important. It's very important that the timing is there. Basically, what these dogs do is they eat, they sleep, they process the food, and that takes about 4 hours. And then they get fed again and do it all over. But there's also a socializing factor that goes along with that. These puppies are being picked up and held from the day they're born, every 4 hours. And every time they get touched by a human, something good happens to them. They're being held, they feel the warmth of Maria, they get fed. That feels good. And then it happens again 4 hours later, and again and again. So the socialization from day one is already starting here with our dogs. There's a big difference between a puppy that's raised in a cage and the mother's thrown dry food and a bowl of water, and I'll see you in 8 weeks when it's time to sell the pups.
All right.
There's a big difference.
He's definitely what I expected. No doubt.
Did he?
Appreciate it.
Oh, good. Glad you're happy. All right, folks, if you have any questions in reference to what we discussed in this video, there is recourse if you've been robbed by somebody that took your deposit money. I'm really very hot about this. I don't like this. This is abuse. And you can complain. Don't keep it a secret. There's an unwritten law that you don't talk bad about other kennels. I understand that, but that's being misinterpreted. If somebody's doing wrong, it needs to be exposed and stopped. If somebody took your money like that, report it. Report it to the people they advertise with. Report it to the people that they advertise that they're part of that club. Report it to your local authorities. Are they licensed with their state to do business, first and foremost? I would call the police and see if they broke the law by robbing your money. Take them to court. Don't just take it like you can do nothing about it. But contacting the people that they advertise with, if they get enough complaints from a certain kennel, they will not be allowed to advertise, and that you could at least stop them from robbing other people. Okay, folks, if you have any other questions pertaining to what we talked about here today or anything else, please feel free to call me at area code 917-453-3226. That's in the USA. And also my website is bravokennel.com. Okay, thanks for visiting. Bye for now.